continue with our interview?
Okay. Yeah, over to you.
Okay, Suresh. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Pawan, just brief me about yourself. Okay, what technology you have used? What is your current role and responsibilities?
So I have 7+ years of experience in the full stack technology. So in the full stacks means I do work in the Node.js as well in my previous companies, and most of time I worked on the front end as a front end developer. So the closely I'm working with Angular right now. So I know about the React.js as well and the Vue.js as well. But on React.js I worked on the couple of modules in my previous company. So right now the majorly working with the front end for the Synchron technology. The client is Morgan Stanley.
Great. Pawan, we'll start with the JavaScript first, and then we move to the React part. Is that right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. What is the difference between var, let, and const?
So basically, we can say where it has a function scope and the let and const has a block scope. So you cannot access the same variable outside of the block. But in the problem when it comes with suppose we are using the var and we have one for loop, and inside that for loop we are updating the I where whatever variable we have created. So because of that, get what happens. So it will be having the same memory location. It will be updating the same value. So because of that concern, the ES6 features get introduced with the block scope. So with the block scope, we can have the similar variable outside of the block. So it will be a separate memory location for the let and const. And the difference between let and const will be the const will be not, we can say it cannot be reassigned. So that is the difference between let, const and var. And var going to hoist, and the let also going to hoist, but basically it will be not attached to the global window. It will be in the separate script block over there inside the developer tool. So there will be that reside. So and for the temporal date zone for that, so when we create some variable with a let or a const, so not the const, so when we create a with a let, so the difference between the initialization and the declaration, so this will be the temporal date zone for that variable. So this is how that it will be reside to that script block over there. Once it get attached to some value, then it will attach to the our global scope, we can say. So yeah, this is the some kind of difference I know about it.
Okay. So let's say example, you have one variable const name is equal to Pawan. So will you able to change that value?
Okay. No. So basically, we have two types of the data type, primitive and non-primitive. Okay. So basically, if we are creating the primitive data type of the const, so we cannot reassign it. But suppose we are using the const object and first name, last name. Inside that, I am adding Pawan, first name Pawan and last name. So I can update the properties of it, but we cannot reassign it. So this is the main difference with the respect to the primitive and non-primitive for the const.
Okay. So for inside for loop, right? If you use var, it will give you the same result, right? And if you use let, it will give you a different result, right? So let's say example, you don't want to use let, right? How you can? What is your second solution for it?
So in that case, I will create a separate function and I will pass that I to that function. So that will what happens. So whatever I variable over there, suppose I have one set, I have already know about the one example of the set timeout, which prints the 3, suppose less than 2 you are using. So at that time what happens, so whatever the latest value of I, it will attach to the set timeout, because set timeout resides into the call stack queue. As soon as the global scope get executed, then only it get executed. So for that case, we can create one closure and we can pass that set timeout into the closure. So it will be having the new memory location with the I variable. So we can say that the inside that function will be having the latest value. Each loop will have the separate value with it. So we can do similar kind.
Okay, right. So you have an object, right? And you want to make a copy of that object. How you are going to do that?
Okay, so basically, suppose I want to make a shallow copy, so I can directly write a const object2 equal to object1. So whatever the object1 will be there, it will be copied to the object2. Then we have the object dot assign, so we can use that as well. And then we can use the spread operator as well. So with the help of this, will creates with the spread operator, it will create a deep copy as well. But the only the initial level. Suppose you are using the any references type of the object inside the parent one. so it will be copied that parent references. So if you are trying to update something in the uh, child one with the help of the spread as well, so it will affect to that one as well. So this is the one kind of three type of the shallow copy we'll be having. And we have deep copy. So to create a deep copy we use a json.stringify and parse. So with it, so it will be creating the some string kind of the data and we'll assign to some variable. So it will be a disconnecting between both. So whenever we do some changes into the new object, so it will not reflect to the parent one. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Oh, I thought I
Hello?
got.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I thought I got disconnected.
No. What is the difference between map and filter?
Okay, so basically we can say that the suppose I have some data, okay, and I want to make some manipulation on that data. So I can use a map for it. So it will create a separate array for us. So it will be having some we can say that the new array will be created depend upon the transformation whatever we have written over there. And with the filter we can filter our data depends upon some conditions. Suppose I have some a object, it has some age or salary, so I can put some filter like that, salary greater than 50,000, 1 lakh, something kind. So this will be the new object will be new array will be created for us. But suppose I'm creating on the array basically, so at that time what will happen, so it will create a separate array. So we're creating a separate array, but there is nothing as a we can say that the immutable things over there, so it will be a separate array. But we are creating from some array depends upon the parent one. So if I do some changes inside the new one as well, so it will reflect to parent as well. So we can say that the both will be the shallow copy depends in terms of the immutable. And if it is a immutable and it is a immutable, then it will be having no effect into the parent when we do some manipulation in the child.
Okay, got it. So do you have any idea about prototype?
So basically what happens, suppose anything we create inside the JavaScript, so it attach by default some properties. So that properties attached because of the underscore prototype. So this is the suppose I write array dot push. Okay, so what will happen? So array underscore proto dot push. This method is attached to the array. So whenever I use array, so it will be created from capital A array dot our array dot push. So what will happen? So array has a proto. Okay, so that proto is we are using indirectly. So because of that only we are able to access that. So we have the levels of over there. Suppose I created one object, so object has one.
Yeah, you can continue.
Oh, I thought I disconnect. Okay, so what I was saying that every whatever object we create or array or function, so everyone has a prototype attached to it. So to access such kind of the things we have to attach it. So with the help of the proto only we are able to use the on push, then pop, then this kind of the functionality. So it will say we can say that it will allow us to the prototype chaining. We is with the help of the prototype chaining we are able to access such kind of things. And suppose I want to create my customized function that will be attached to the function. So what I can do, I will write a capital F function dot my bind. So what will happen, so whenever I will create one new function now, so it will be giving me that reference my bind. So everywhere I can access that my bind function attached to the function. So I can create my customized proto as well like that.
Got it. So basically for the inheritance purpose we can use that.
Yeah, a chaining. Yeah, correct.
Right. So what is the arrow function and what is the advantage of using arrow function?
Okay, so basically in the arrow function, apart from the syntactically difference, so we have the syntactical one first difference. So in the arrow function, we don't have the this scope over there. So if we have some nested, we can say the closer parent is there, then only it will be having the access of this over there, whatever the value inside that. So if we don't have that, it will target to the global scope directly. This is the one difference. Then we don't have the argument object inside the arrow function, so we use a rest operator for it. So whatever rest operator we pass from the calling the function, so we'll get that inside the rest function. And another thing, the arrow function not going to hoist and the normal function going to hoist. So this is the third difference. And apart from that, suppose I have created one arrow function, but that is not expecting any parameter, so I can skip that parenthesis as well. So this will be the simplified version for the arrow function, we can say, for the normal function.
Right. So in which case you will use bind?
Okay, so basically suppose I have one parent object, okay, and object one I have, inside that I have parent first name and last name Pawan and Patil, okay, and now I want to print some other name. Suppose I want to pass the test. So what will I can do, I will create that object one dot property, whatever function get name over there. So I can pass the value of a new object. Suppose I want to pass test, so that will be the another object. That object will attach to that this. So with the help of that bind, okay, so I will tell about the first what is the approach, and I will give the differences between three. So what I was trying to say, that the we can attach the new scope of this to the current function. So it will not target like that the Pawan and Patil, it will target to test. So this is how we use call, apply and bind. So difference between call and apply and bind is that bind will create a separate memory location. So it will not execute as soon as we call that. It will be having some memory location attached to the one variable, and we can use it later on. So this is the one difference I know. And in the call and apply, it get executed as soon as we call it. And in the both the difference, we have to use a separate comma separated parameter we have to pass in the call, and in the apply we have to use in the array shape we can pass.
Right. So basically, what is the difference between spread operator and rest parameter?
Okay, so basically we can say that the rest operator, as I mentioned, that suppose I don't know how many parameter is coming into the arrow function. So at that time, what I can do, whatever parameter I will pass from here, I will create the rest operator dot whatever input I will create over there. Suppose I want I pass three parameter now, so I will get the three parameters over inside that. Suppose I pass n number of, then n number of will be get. So I can iterate that my rest operator over there. And in terms of the spread operator, I can say that the suppose it will be having a, it allows us to separate whatever things over there. So what I can say that the it will help us to the separate everything from the array. Suppose I want to add something beginning to the array and the end of the array. So what I can do, I will create array const new array, and I will push something, and in the bracket I will add suppose I want to add 10 and 10 at the beginning and the end. So what I can do, array 10, then comma dot whatever base array, and again 10. So what will happen, it will create separate out the whatever the dot array we have passed on. So what it will happen, it will separate it everything from that array, and it will allow us to create the new array. So this is the difference I know.
Okay. So I'm sharing one problem statement with you on chat. Let me know the answer for it.
Yes. Get the second last element from the array. So I can
Array
write.
list will be keep changing.
Okay, so array length will be keep changing, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
So
what
today we have a 10 elements, right? So it's a, you can say it's a input, right, from the function. So the length of array will be keep changing.
Okay, so you want to take only single element, correct? From the second last, or you want to
Yeah,
take last
right.
two?
Right. So today we have a 6 elements, right? Tomorrow it will be a 10. So every time I need a second last.
Okay, okay. So what I can do for that, array length minus 2 if I pass, then it will give me the, let me think, 1 2 3 4 5 6 right now I have, and I want to get e. So 6 minus 1. So whatever array length over there, we can minus the which
Could you
which
please write down that
yeah,
chunk of code for me?
yes. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Or otherwise you can write in chat box as well.
Actually,
It's totally dependent.
yeah, JSPTL I'm doing. So I want to get E now, correct? Only E.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So I will do console log array list dot length minus 1 I do like this, then what will happen? So array length is 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 minus 1 5. So I have to pass something like this, then it will give me e. Maybe something like this I need to do. Can I run this?
Yeah, it will work.
No, I think something problem is there.
No problem. Your logic is pretty clear.
Okay. Yeah, f given, if I do -2, then it will every time it will return me second last.
Yes.
Okay.
So that will be keep changing. That doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
the way you are writing, right? That's important for me.
Yeah. It will give me now something.
Your approach.
Yes, got 14.
I'm sharing one more problem statement with you.
Yeah.
What will be the result for it?
So it will be 33 because we are trying to add string and integer. So what will happen? So whenever there is some rules over there we have. Suppose you are trying to plus something into the string, so it will get to convert it to string. So it will return double quote 33, I think.
Okay, in a string format, right? And what about this? The second one?
So we are now converting the string number to minus. So it is not a number. So maybe it will return you 3 NaN, I think. Because no string, it will convert to 3. Because this unary operator we are using and we are passing string to that unary operator, so maybe it will return 0, not sure, but maybe
Okay, no problem.
it will return, I think, 0.
Yeah, right. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, so we are converting
because it will convert your string to a number.
Yes.
And then try to
Subtraction
minus that thing from the particular number.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So how comfortable you are with Node.js?
I do work on the Node.js in my previous companies, but right now mostly working with the front-end technologies. So I'm comfortable with it, but I will be needing some time related to learn the code, whatever code will be there. So it will not take that much of time, so I can adopt that too. Actually, I know about the many concepts related to Node, but I need to just brush up about the architecture and all.
Okay. So do you have any idea about middleware? What is middleware?
Okay, so I can say that suppose I can give an example. So at that time we can create some middleware. So what we can say that suppose I want to upload some image. Okay, so suppose I want to upload my profile image. So what I can create over there, suppose I can pass my image to the backend and I will create one middleware, so that that middleware be doing things for us to upload that image to the some memory, some folder location. So and it will return some path to us. So that path I will attach to the that path we can attach to the we can send it to the database. Okay, so whenever we are trying to access that path, so the image will be over there as well. So we can suppose I have localhost 4200 images folder, and inside that I have pawan.png. So what will happen? So it will target that location, backend location, and the /pawan, and it will try to find that. So what I can say that the middleware helps us to do something before going to the backend or something, maybe something like that.
Right. So let's move to the React part. Okay. So tell me what is the difference between element and component?
Element and component.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we can say that the component will be having everything will be the architectural over there, and only element you meant to say only the tag only, or the block you are asking directly, written block you are saying.
Sorry.
No, I'm asking about element. So you mean to say only the single element or the whole, like the component
I'm talking
class?
about a single element. Single
That's a
element.
single element. Okay, so basically what I can say that the suppose as when the our React application get load to the DOM, the basic application. So suppose uh, the component will be having its lifecycle methods with it. So and the element will be having only the whatever the things we have to render to the DOM. So inside the renderer, so we use that return and the whatever element we have to load. Component we can say that the it's a part of the React. So basically whatever things we have to bind to the DOM, we use a state over there inside the class component, and inside the functional component we use the use state and the set state. So with the help of that we can update the whatever element we have inside the return function respect to the functional and class component. We do update according to that.
Okay. So tell me what are pure components?
Okay, so we can say that the pure components is nothing but suppose I have one suppose I have one component that is returning some another component. So in that case we can say that it will be having a pure component, so it should return something every time to us.
Okay. Do you have any idea about refs?
Ref.
Yeah, REFS, refs.
Yeah, refs. Okay, so basically suppose I create a input box, so I want to take the value of it. So with the help of the refs, slash ref, we can target over there and equal to the whatever the names of first name last name. So we will get the whatever value of that reference will get to the variable. So we can utilize that value to the uh, in the code we can say, but usually we don't recommend such kind of things because of the DOM can manipulate with the help of that reference kind of the things.
Got it. So what is a forward refs?
Forward ref, not heard that much.
Okay. So what is virtual DOM? Basically, React is work on the virtual DOM, right? So what is a virtual DOM?
Okay, so basically we can say that it will create a separate DOM based depend upon the current DOM. Okay, so we can say that we have the real DOM and it will create a separate DOM from it. So whatever the things will do change inside the components, it will render only that part. So instead of reloading every components in the DOM, it will reload only the respective components. There the state get changed or the value get changed. So we can say that it will be creating a separate DOM from the real DOM, and it will help us to improve the performance by not updating the everything inside the DOM. It will be having a separate DOM and it will render the things as changed into the DOM.
Okay. Do you have any idea about interceptor?
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah, so basically we can say that with the help of the interceptor we can intercept the request and response before going to the backend. So suppose I have some APIs that I want to uh, strictly check that API to the backend before going to backend, so it is valid or not. So I can do one thing, I can attach some authorization header with it, so the backend team will check that. So is header the authorization token which we passed into the that API, is it correct or not? If it is, we can write a middleware over there, so that middleware will check that the request coming from front end, it is valid or not. If it is not valid, then we can send the response back to the redirected to login page. So such kind of things we can do, and depends upon some status responses, we can do navigations as well in the interceptor.
Okay. So do you have any idea about React Fiber?
React Fiber, no.
Okay. So just brief me about lifecycle methods of React.
Okay, so basically in the components we have a render constructor will call first as we create. So then the component did mount, then component update, and the last will did component unmount will be there. So when we set something into the state, into the this dot state, so that at that time what happens, so whenever we do something into the state, so component will re-render. So that is the case where we check the component should re-render or not. So these are some common lifecycle hooks for the component lifecycle. And inside the functional component, we have some use effect over there. So it checks that the whatever dependent we have passed to that array. So if it is that get changed, only the at that time that value get changed, according to that the component will decide that it should render or not. So we use instead of using this dot state, we use a use state over there. We'll create a constant object and the handler for it to validate change that value. So this is how we can do achieve in the functional components.
Okay, got it. So what in which case you will use a higher order function component?
Okay, so exact definition I'm not remembering of it, but
You can explain me the use of it, right?
yeah.
So in
So okay. So basically, I can say that that function do that component should do some manipulation and return depends upon something to the outer scope, we can say, or it should return something from that component. So at that time, we respect to use a higher order for components, something maybe like that.
Sir, please come again.
I was saying that suppose it is taking some component, okay, and depend upon some situation where updating that inner component and returning the new thing to the DOM. So that I was saying. I'm not clear the exact scenarios for that, but maybe like that, or I will read about it more.
Yeah, basically it's for the reusability of code, right? So it will you can use that higher order function. So it will manipulate things and it will return you the new component.
Yes.
For the reusability purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any idea about lazy loading? How it's work?
Yeah. So basically, okay, instead of adding that slash directly, if we are doing that slash and path, we are passing whatever component we have using inside the React. So at that time, what happens? So whatever route we have written to the inside the routes, so it will get bundled inside the single time. And if we use dot then, so it will be loaded at the lazy. So it will be not going to load inside the DOM as a bundle get created. So it will be having the lazily loaded with the dot then. So we can say the promise based such kind of things we do use for the lazy.
Okay. Right. So basically for the utilization, right?
Yes.
You can say for the performance perspective, you can use that.
Yes, on demand.
Okay, right. So just brief me something about how your routing works. So if you have a multiple users, right? For example, multiple roles, how you are going to manage that in a route?
Okay. So I have multiple roles and you want me to
So what will be your structure for it? Are you getting my point, right? Because few pages are accessible only for the admin and few pages are only accessible for the manager, and there is only limited pages only for the accessible the normal user, right?
Okay.
So how you will manage those things?
Okay. For that, I did such kind of things inside the Angular, but exactly I didn't do that in the React.
But it's a real world example, right? It's a any applications requirement.
Yeah. So can I give the example for Angular if you allow me?
Yeah. I just want to know your thought process, right? How you are going to do that.
So basically,
because every technology have their own pros and cons.
Yeah. So basically, in the Angular, we can create an auth guard over there, and inside the auth guard, we do whatever. Okay, so basically, when user get logged into the system, we'll get some roles and whatever the roles and roles, first name, last name, everything will be there into the coming to the backend. So I can do one thing. I will create that auth guard inside an Angular. So the auth guard will check that the what is the role of it. So if user is that user has the role which he able to access, then at that time will return the true. And if he is not able, he is not have that access, then we can return the some 404 page or something page. You should not, you don't have that authorized something component will create over there. So depend upon auth guard we can do. So such kind of things we can do with the help of the on the module level as well. So we can write that same thing in the module level as well, on the route level as well. So I can try such kind of things to the centralized place.
Okay, so let's see example. Okay, you are picking those roles from the session storage, right?
Session maybe or
So
local.
any user, yeah, any user can modify that, right? As a normal developer, you can modify the session storage, right? Now the scenario is there is one URL for the admin, and somebody's bookmarked that URL on your machine. So now you are a normal user. You are logged in that system, and you can see that bookmark URL, right? You click on it, and you modify your access or role
Admin
in
too.
your session storage. So will you able to access that URL? And if you want to restrict that, right? If yes, if you able to access that URL, then you have to restrict that user, right? How you will restrict that user?
Okay.
I hope I'm clear, right?
Yeah, I got it. So you mean to say, suppose someone updates some roles inside the local or session storage and reload the page, so you're able to access something that. So okay.
Yeah, right. Because you are just hiding and showing things, right, on the basis of the role.
Yes.
In all guard.
Yeah. So for that, API that can check whether he has role, but again we'll store into the local storage and he will update that.
So we can make a API call, that's right. But where you will write that code?
Yeah, that is I'm thinking only. So I can write in the like the interceptor where we can check that user. But I'm thinking about suppose he logged in, but he get changed after some time into the local storage, but still he able to access. So something we can create so it will automatically get expires after some time. So you should log in again. But I'm thinking
Okay, but if it's a valid user, then it's not make sense, right?
Yeah.
So if it's an invalid user, then it will work, right? But if it's a valid user, then it forcefully deactivate that session, right?
Yes. I have to check this. How can I overread?
Okay, no problem. But it's a real world example, right?
Yes,
We can face
got it.
this issue, right?
Yeah, got it.
Somebody can modify that session storage easily and they can access the pages. Okay. So, Pawan, that's it from my end. Do you have any question for me?
I have question related to the project only. So, what kind of the project we have? So, for this hiring.
So basically, we are looking for mostly for the React developer who can work on the React. But in after some time, we are going to give up exploration on the Node.js as well. Okay. So if you are willing to work on Node.js, you can work on that as well. And basically, because we have multiple projects, right? Okay. So some projects need a React plus Node. Some projects require only Node, right? So, but the way we are looking for, right, who have a better understanding on front end as well as the back end. Okay. Because nowadays, almost each and every application using a Node.js, right? Yes. So we are planning to give you the guidance, right, or trainings for it you can explore yourself on the Node.js. Okay. And I think you have a very good experience on front end, so I think you can work on any front end technologies, right? I'm okay with it. I don't have problem. Because if you are working on Node.js, right, you will get exposure on other technologies like a cloud technology as well. Yeah. So it will be beneficial for you in future as well. Yes. If you have a combination of Node, front end and cloud, right? You have a very good value in market, right? Yes. Okay, man. Okay. So I will share my feedback with HR and HR will get back to you. Is that fine? Yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah. Okay, Pawan. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah, bye. Bye.